Andrew, anything else you wanted to touch before we move on?
No, Aaron Judge singled, by the way. We're recording this as the Yankees are in Toronto, so you didn't miss history yet.
My stream is like delayed by Jeremy. 7 to 10 seconds.
Oh,
so in the future, if you message me for the second at bat and we're still recording, keep that in mind.
Okay, deal. Although what you did to me before the show, I kind of deserve to spoil something.
Wow.
For those who don't know, well, no one would know. It was before the show. I mentioned that next Sunday when we record, the Mets will be in Atlanta, potentially playing the biggest game they've played since the wild card game in 2016. And I'd argue the biggest game they've played since the World Series in 2015, when that game might decide the division. Again, derailing a basketball podcast, talking about baseball. And Jeremy goes, Scherzer and DeGrom are pitching, right? And I'm like, yeah, the Mets actually lined it up perfectly that Bassett, Scherzer, and DeGrom, their three best pitchers, will be pitching that series. And then he goes, well, yeah, well, hopefully they don't get hurt.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get hurt.
Jeremy, why are you putting that into the universe?
I'm just saying, I hope they don't get hurt.
No, that the way you said it was like
it was devious.
You know, I didn't mean it to be devious. I did not mean it to be devious.
It was devious.
It was point of concern and care for you. But I understand I put it out there into the ether, and I apologize for that.
Jeremy and John are in my wedding. If you tell me the week of my wedding, well, hopefully she shows up on Sunday. You know what? I'm gonna throw you like off of a bridge.
But hopefully she will.
Jeremy.
Okay, let's move on to this game.
Anyway, all that being said, we're watching baseball while we're recording this. At least I'm watching baseball while we're recording.
Should have been last night. Should have been last night.
Oh, that's right. Jeremy was at the game last night.
What happened?
Did you stay for the entire rain delay?
I stayed for the entire rain delay. The fun part was that the stadium was playing some great 70s and 80s hits, except for they played a song from Grease. You know, Summer Nights. It's not a great song. It's not a good show. Yeah.
You don't like Tell Me More, Tell Me More. You don't like that song?
It's also super predatory. It's just,
you're right. Okay.
And they're 40 years old playing teenagers.
We're not relitigating Grease on this podcast.
Maybe it's cold outside, Jeremy. Right. Okay.
But it was a monsoon. It's just was crazy. And my friend and I decided, let's go to the first floor because we were in the 300s. And for those of you who have not been to Yankee Stadium, that's, more nosebleeds. And we went down, we were going to go down to the lobby of the first floor of the building to hopefully get through from the rain. And we had to make a break for it. And I did not realize how slick the ground was we were running. And so everyone's lined up for food and people are lined up on the stairs and everyone sees me and my friend like turn Yankee Stadium into a slip and slide by accident. And he fell on his ass. I fell face forward onto my chest.
Oh.
And at that moment, I'm like, this is awful. This is terrible. But then I used it to the best of my abilities, just popped up. My friend popped up too. And was like, let's go, celebrate it. Cause we're drenched at that point. It doesn't matter. Everyone starts applauding and cheering for us. So it was really fun. We go down to the first aid. Cause I'm like, look, my rib's kind of hurting. Really hope I didn't break my rib. And it's like, why not? Free healthcare. It's a rarity in America. So we go to the first aid section and my friend's like, hey, just a really awkward story that we have. And the first thing that the woman says is, you peed yourselves. I'm like, what? No. So, they gave me some Motrin. I can't move. It's all right. Doesn't matter. Played the hits. They called the game. We went home. That was that. So, but yeah, he should have had 2 more at bats and history.
That's baseball.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You did stay there. So I watched the first up until 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock when House of the Dragon came on, and like the delay had just started. So I was like, all right, so I'm not going to miss any of the game. And when the not Game of Thrones is done, I can watch the rest of the game. And it was like pouring where I was in Queens. It's like, I know if it's pouring here, it's still Yankee Stadium. And they waited as long as they could. So speaking of disasters or falling flat on your face, today was content day over at Knicks. It was in Terrytown, right? That's where they have it. So I decided I would, at first when I pitched this idea to you guys, it was that I would pull quotes from what the Knicks gave today at Content Day when they actually did speak to reporters. And I would just say the quote and you guys guess who it was. And this is me not understanding for a brief moment the two gentlemen that I speak to on a daily basis. Of course, you guys know all of the quotes I'm going to say right now, especially the one that writes the newsletter. So I don't think I decided to go a little above and beyond. And not only did I go around the NBA and get some quotes, but I pulled the clips too. So you guys will also be guessing who you'll be guessing who said it and then getting to hear who said it. I will just say my favorite quote from Knicks Content Day was the quote because Julius Randle did an entire interview with his entire microphone muted. Yes.
That's where you were going. Yep.
I just listen as somebody who does this for a living now and went to school for it, understands the added benefit of good audio production and quality.
Turn your mic on.
My email is in my bio, New York Knicks. Okay. Just throwing it out there. Just a free counseling session would be very easy for us to arrange sometime. Anyway, I'll throw 5 quotes at you. You guys can at least, I figured I'd mention them and then you guys can say who they are. They're from the Knicks Media Day or Content Day. And then you guys can then guess they're from the rest of the NBA, the game that I put together. First one, I'll be out there as long as Tibbs wants me out there.
I know this one.
Jeremy. Oh, maybe that's the game. Jeremy guesses.
Yeah. Again,
you didn't. That's right. You probably didn't plug in as much. Okay.
Rain killed my Wi-Fi, so I was working on that for a lot of today. So I'll be out there. Is it RJ?
No.
This would be the 22 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose. Yeah.
The shirtless Derrick Rose, as you said this too. Say that he's healthy, then I'll be out there as long as Tibbs want me out there. This one should be easy, Jeremy. I'm not a savior in any way, shape, or form.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yes. Jalen Brunson.
That was good.
It's easy. John, I know you love this. It's easy to be a leader when things are good. When it's not, it's even more important.
Is that Julius?
Yes. Yes.
Julius Randle saying how it's even more important when things are going wrong to show leadership qualities like hustling back on defense and being in the team huddle.
Can I just say there was a SNY videos, SNY Knicks, whatever that Twitter account is, ran a video of Julius popping his head into Rose's media availability after Rose, I guess, was either in the process of or after he had said what was my favorite quote of the day, which was about this year's all about holding each other accountable, no matter what slot you are in the rotation. You have a voice deserves to be heard, this and that. And like Julius popped his head in, and then there was like a jovial exchange between the two of them, but I couldn't get exactly what he was saying. And I don't know. I found that interesting. He
couldn't believe that Derrick Rose was doing his interview shirtless is what he did.
Oh,
okay, I dig it. You for real? I dig it. And just admires the confidence in said body.
Well,
Derrick Rose.
If that was what it was, it would be funny if he was talking about accountability and he was referencing Julius Randle. That would have reminded me of like the Dwight Stan interview, Sam Van Gundy interview from like where Dwight pops his head in right after Stan's like, "Hey, probably wants to get me fired or whatever."
Yeah, I will say, like, I mean, we're completely speculating here on body language, but it does not seem like Julius is like unlike the way that we seem to have heard reported around the team last year.
Did we think he was unlike by the players?
I do think they're, from what we were allegedly hearing from certain sources, he had kind of distanced himself from members of the team and was just like not enjoying last season or the way it was going. And there was like, is RJ fed up with having to defer to Julius? Is RJ fed up with, some of the direction the offense is being run? There was obviously a Kemba Julius frustration, a Fournier Julius frustration, that why wasn't he held as accountable as Kemba was earlier in the year? And just watching them today, he seems like, these are my guys. Like when he goes and daps up Jalen Brunson for their picture of the Knicks big three.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Brunson, pretends like pulls the hand away
from RJ.
RJ. And I mean, that's just a Duke Villanova thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
John, you have seen your fair share of first days at school.
I have.
When kids come through and they haven't seen each other for a while, like
clean slate.
Yeah, that's just how I saw it. It's so hard to read body language because when you look for something, you kind of keep looking for it.
I'll say this,
but I know everyone. It's just, hey, it's good to be back. Happy to see you, and we'll just get into the swing of things, and then they'll progress when it's all business from there. Today,
I don't think there's the team has any issue with Julius. That's never really been a worry of mine. I do still wonder where his mindset is, and I'll leave it at that. What's the next quote?
I really think we're going to shock the world. RJ Barrett.
Yes.
Good quote.
What would shock you? What would shock the world from the Knicks this year?
50 wins. 45 wins, probably, honestly.
Not 50. I honestly could talk myself into 45.
So then 45 would not be shocking the world.
No. So 50 would. The Knicks win 50 games this year. That would shock. 53 wins. Hashtag.
I think actually Bobby Marks put out a video for ESPN a couple hours ago in which he is predicting that all five teams from the Atlantic Division will make the postseason. He has the Knicks and the Raptors as play-in teams. And I think he said he wouldn't be shocked if the Knicks won 45. So then, I guess 50 or 53 would shock the world.
Hashtag
my shock would be the opposite direction. Where they lose a lot more games. I'm not saying that it will happen. That's not where I see it, but it reminds me of shades of they're saying us in Golden State are the super teams.
Oh my Lord.
It's not a quote I want to think about. And yet, when you look at how the youth has been progressing, the steps that RJ has been taking, especially down the stretch of the last 40 some odd games of the season, you can see why they can just kind of hit the accelerator. But it's just so many what ifs. Like, again, it comes to me, I've completely accepted Randall's here, moving past it, trying to turn a new page. It's just a matter of, will the game come easier to him, and will he let the game come more easily to him and for him? And I think if the answer to that is yes, then things feel just a whole lot better. Because I think he actually trusts who the point guard is now, and he might be a little more receptive to playing off ball. But it's great if he does. It's just, is he going to do it to the capacity that we need him to do it? That's, to me, the larger question.
And he's going to hit shots.
Yeah, is he going to be?
That's really all it is. Is he going right? It's especially pull up. Is he? But then again, because we know he's going to take pull up shots. The catch and shoot obviously matters too. But as you Prez said, he's either going to be a good wing or a bad wing. So hopefully he's a good wing. He's not going to play like a big.
I don't think I've actually had this thought until literally right now, and I certainly haven't said it on the podcast. And I'm not no one's counting on this happening, but if Julius just literally reverted back to the player he was during the most improved player season, and everybody else just kind of played to expectations, then 50 wins would not be insane.
That would shock the world.
You know what would shock the world? Him reverting back to that most improved players.
Maybe that's what RJ was talking about. We're going to shock the world.
We're going to shock the world.
I mean, Julius is not going to be terrible anymore.
The Knicks have 3 All-Stars this year. That would shock the world. Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and Jalen Brunson.
All right. Is there another Knicks quote, or that was the last one?
Yeah, one last quote from the Knicks. Berman has to come back for the last dance. Mitchell Robinson. And a shout out to the apparently soon retiring Mark Berman.
I think he's retired now.
Okay, so they officially retired Mark Berman, formerly of the New York Post, on a legendary career. I was going to say warts and all, but that's the worst type of well-wish you could give. I hope he enjoys retirement after a career well done.
I'm going to save my extended thoughts for an episode later in this week, but I did write a little something for Tuesday's newsletter on Mark, so feel free to read that. Jeremy, any thoughts on Mr. Berman? Yeah,
congratulations on a remarkable career. The fact that he was always in on it is the funniest part. I just respect how he's gotten his work done. I know a lot of it might come off as salacious, and sometimes it absolutely is. And I feel bad for Tibbs because he now has to find a new mouthpiece, but it's great to see someone who does that much digging as Berman does. And he was always trying to get to the story. It takes remarkable work that only someone working at a Murdoch publication can accomplish. So shout out to him. I would love to see his face on whatever they use to send up to the rafters. Just have him right next to
Oh my God. That'd be great.
and then just looking down on the stadium, on the arena would be great for the rest of everyone's lives. Just
He does-
perpetuity.
He does a lot of digging. What's the animal that digs for truffles?
Pigs dig for truffles. I
probably not the best
feel
analogy.
bad calling him a pig. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's move on.
Is he groundhog? what I can't even think of the animal that
He burrows for
goes through,
details.
We're certainly digging here, aren't we?
We are. Call us
Okay.
Mark Berman.
So all that being said, Yankees are 6th in the order, so I can make this full screen. Okay. So I now have 8 clips from today. The problem is Jeremy already said one of them. So we'll start with this one. The quote is, nobody should go to Vegas with the thought of betting on us to win the championship.
I knew this as well. So my favorite quote of Media Day from Greg Popovich, coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say it anyway. What the hell? Nobody here should go to Vegas with the thought of betting on us to win the championship.
He's the best. I love Pop.
What odds would you need to
There's no
bet anything? There's no odds. If
Zero.
plus
There's nothing.
plus 95 million.
That's actually a fun game. How many teams are there no odds that would get you to bet on them to win the championship this year?
There's like
at least 10.
16.
I was about to say I think there's about 10. I'm with Jeremy.
Absolutely zero odds. 10. With I wouldn't give the Knicks a good chance, for example, of winning it, but I would say it's higher than 0.01%, for example. 0.1%.
We'll get into this on our
1% probably.
over-unders, John. I've got like 13 teams that I could be talked into or title contenders.
That you could be talked into as title contenders.
Yes.
But didn't you just say that there are like 16 teams that you wouldn't
Which
place
leaves
what?
14 teams.
So there's no there's no in between for you between title contender and like if someone literally gave you like 100,000 to 1 odds, you wouldn't place $10.
Because what's that $10? That's a meal, bro. Like that's 2 if you budget correctly. That's 3 if you budget correctly.
I'm trying to think of a good example team.
I'll say this.
The Blazers. Like I would if you gave me good enough odds on the Blazers winning it all.
What deals do they have at Wendy's?
That's not the point is like, again, if you gave some ridiculous odds, I would be like, all right, fine. You could light my $10 on fire for the right to find out if they win or not.
Andrew, pretend it's a gift card and not $10 in cash. You get a gift card to bet. You have to use the $10. That's essentially what it is.
Oh, okay. So I have to put this one. It's one I hate those types of gifts.
But here's the thing, though, John. I think you'll appreciate this mindset. If you go back to like the year, I want to say 2000, pretty much every team that's won the championship has had a net rating of, I want to say like over 3 outside of one of those Lakers teams that was just below it. Something along those lines. And it's like 8 teams per year, or like at most 8 to 9 teams that typically achieve over 3 net rating.
Sure.
So in theory, shouldn't we then be saying like, well, it's like closer to 20 teams that just have 0 chance because
but we don't know which of those 8 teams that are going to end up.
Right. Which is why I'm saying if you cast like a net of 12 of them, like we know that they're going to be the solid contenders. And then you can sprinkle in some of the ones that you think could actually elevate to the point. Like I'm sure you would pick Dallas because I know you love Luka. I would not because I think they had a great postseason run and it's going to be hard to replicate. Like that type of thing. In terms of like literally 0 chance to win a title, I'll say 10, but then like from there, it's still the gap between being a 0 net rating team and like 3. It's really hard to break through from there. So I don't know.
I'm just saying you could talk me into a lot of stuff. That's all.
Oh, that's a different conversation.
Shout out to Loris.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Next quote. I know I'm that good that you're not just going to give me away.
Oh, I know this one. Are we doing back and forth, or it's like whoever knows
just
it?
whoever knows it. But if you know it, because Jeremy wasn't it. I guess
Say it again.
I know I'm that good that you're not just going to give me away.
I know it now.
Okay.
Who is it?
Russ?
No.
No.
not Russ.
Ah,
Okay.
Kevin Durant,
Another
baby.
guess. Okay.
okay.
First, are you surprised you're still here?
No, I mean, I know I'm that good that you're just not going to give me away. So that's one thing I did appreciate about Sean and Joe is like, yeah, you're too great for us to give you away. Just that easy, that simple. So I get that. I know who I am.
I just want to shout out Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for reminding me today that they are easily my least two favorite people in the entire National Basketball Association.
Wow, Julius has moved up in the depth chart.
Oh,
Moved down.
Julius is way above these two idiots.
Oh, never mind. He's way up above this.
No, I was thinking if John's going from most liked to least liked, then Julius then would move up.
I was way higher, so he's more liked than these two idiots. Okay.
I loathe Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
I'll be honest with you. Because I've pushed back on you sometimes, not even necessarily on Mike. There's a certain hesitation I have when it comes to criticizing Kyrie because of honestly, just some optics. And then the man goes and shares an Alex Jones clip on Instagram. And there's like few scums of this earth that I detest more than him. And then Kyrie I almost put a quote on here, but it's like, there's literally nothing I want to endorse of Kyrie Irving now.
No.
It's why I gotta be honest. To say KD and Kyrie are even in the same tier. I don't like KD. I don't mind him as much as I used to. Kyrie's in a whole different tier to me.
I don't know who's worse because I am not sure because I think Kyrie, there's a legitimate chance that there are, I don't know how else to say it. There are some real issues there that are, I don't know what the source of those are. I'm not his therapist. KD seems like he could know better and is just choosing not to. And is like along for this ride. So, God bless him. Anyway,
next quote. I was happy.
Oh, I know this too. Jeremy, you know?
How we got to do?
This quote, John, go ahead. Can I just play the full quote? Because it's even funnier when you just watch the whole video.
Congratulations on obviously getting the deal. Just maybe your thoughts that you got that. Maybe what was your initial reaction once the Suns matched the Pacers offer?
I was happy. It was all done, I guess.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Shout out to Mark J. Spears of ESPN who got up and did a little televised bit that they tweeted out in which he compared the feeling of Suns Media Day to that of a funeral.
Yeah.
I saw something that was like, okay, so Chris Paul didn't learn anything from that game 7 against the Mavs and Ayton doesn't want to be there. And Booker's like, that's not the Sarver I knew or I know.
Oh,
and
yeah, that was a low key.
Vibes are so off. It actually kind of reminds me of the Knicks vibes last year, but so much worse because like that's a team that should be contending for a title. And,
I didn't think the Knicks vibes last year were that. What, you thought the Knicks vibes were bad?
I mean, at least amongst the fans. For sure.
But that's why
but not within the clubhouse.
Yeah.
That seemed different. It's like, I think it reached its lowest point with a lot of the booing. And
I think you're talking about Media Day. I'm talking specifically.
No, not Media Day. No. That's, I'm just saying going from something that felt so good to just falling off of a cliff. Although this is so much worse than that, because again, this is a team where you need Ayton to be locked in because he can't be traded anyway. And he can't be traded to the team that he wants to, or he wanted to go to until next summer. And Chris Paul is in his late 30s and Mikal Bridges is good. He's very good, but he's not going to get you to where you need him to go. And Devin Booker's great and he's going to get better, but they didn't really change much. They've just And you've got Jay Crowder not even showing up to media day. So it's just
they are to me.
It starts at the top.
They're without question the most fascinating situation in the league, because on one hand, you're like, if the vibes aren't great and they decide to blow it up, like there's so many pieces that could go for theoretically huge sums in terms of returning assets. But at the same time, what if they get like the next Steve Ballmer to buy them and they're the hot team in the NBA, or what? Like there's that interesting dichotomy there.
I was thinking about this as well, because just like, all right, if there's a new owner, and there will be, how eager are they to buy the team for what will be a ridiculous amount because it's in a good market, and they just have to. Phoenix has the capacity to be much better as a free agent draw, but to do that and then go right into a rebuild. And you talk about the Jazz. If the Suns were to do what the Jazz just did, they like strip it to the actual studs. They would be in the conversation for usurping Utah for greatest haul we've seen, right? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
But I don't see them necessarily doing exactly that. But it's they're the team to watch to see if they implode in a year, 2 years, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, they still have all their picks, so
they do.
Who knows what?
If they're
happens.
In the mid to late 20s, because they were a great regular season team, they just weren't built for the playoffs last year, and they haven't made the improvements that they've needed to. So how valuable are their picks going to be if you are a team that's looking to, trade one of your players to Phoenix?
That'll be an interesting conversation going forward.
Sounded a lot like a team at the end of a run, that this offseason, between the Durant rumors and what's going on with Jay Crowder and obviously the Sarver stuff, and honestly, the way last season ended, adding on how much better the West is going to be this year. You could argue Mavericks Suns, the series that went 7 last year. You could argue that's the play-in this year,
Yeah. But it goes to show, and we'll see how this year plays out, how short windows for contention really can be.
That's the NBA.
They went from the bubble being 8-0 and then getting Chris Paul going to the finals to getting absolutely embarrassed on their home floor in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. And it can be gone in an instant.
It's why we're going to look back. I have a feeling at this Warriors. I think we could call it a dynasty at this point, this Warriors dynasty, and absolutely marvel at the fact that, especially since they might not be done yet. Okay. Next quote.
Yeah, I'll go to this one. This is actually a really funny one. We all have jobs that sometimes people at our jobs don't like us.
Oh my God. I know this. Oh my gosh. Yes, I know this one.
Jeremy, do you know it?
I do.
Okay. Who is it?
You pulled him up before.
This one's
okay.
Russ.
So this one is Russell Westbrook. The full clip involves a question from Los Angeles Times reporter Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, Russ, you said you're buying into the Lakers. Do you think the Lakers are buying into you? Do you think the Lakers want you here?
I mean, whether they want me here or not, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, my job is to be a professional, show up to work like I've always done thus far, do my job the best way I know how to, and that's it. I mean, we all have jobs that sometimes people at our jobs don't like us or don't want us there, as you guys probably can attest to in any other job across the world. And as a professional and as a working man, I have to do my job and do it the best way I know how.
Russell Westbrook.
I've said he's my least favorite player in the NBA. I really don't mind him as a person. He seems like
at all
likable chap.
Yeah. I would hate rooting for him as on my basketball team, but
yes,
there have been some really bad PR answers. This was a good one.
Yes.
Like a very rock solid, accountable, and like, let's move on. Like it.
Yeah.
It does look like he's coming off the bench this year.
I don't think not game 1. I'd be shocked if he came off the bench game 1. I could see it happening. I could see them transitioning. I'd be very surprised if he came off the bench game 1.
Darvin Ham's kept the door open, which tells me, especially with Schroeder there, or even Pat Bev there.
Well, Pat Bev is going to be a 3-and-D wing. That's how they're going to use it.
Okay.
So it'll probably be Schroeder or Russ. And, I would imagine they'll let camp decide, but they probably have an idea which way they want to go right now.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I believe the best player in the world is Steph Curry.
I think I know this one. Was this from today?
No, it's from yesterday.
Jeremy, do you know it?
I don't.
Is this the guy we're still sleeping on?
Yes. Apparently he's sleeping on himself at this point.
Do I believe I'm the best player in the world? No. I think the best player in the world is the person that is the last one standing. Is the person that takes his team to the finish line, and helps them win the game. Win games and become champion. 2 years ago when we did that, when I was sleeping in my bed, I was like, maybe I'm the best player in the world, But now, no. In my opinion, the way I view it, the winner is the best. The guy that wins is the best. When we play a game of ping pong, when I go in my house and I play against my brothers, when I win and I play against the Nazis, coaches and Alex, and then my mom and Mariah, and I win, I'm the best. So that's how I view it. I believe that the best player in the world is Steph Curry until the next player.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, most likable NBA superstar since, Steph's probably up there.
Say since Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Dirk was very likable, but Dirk had a lot of haters. I don't think Giannis has a lot of haters.
Not anymore. No. Winning early helped him.
I will say though, it was very high praise for Moses Moody. Just the way that he was able to.
The best player on the
he's left standing. So.
To John's point, my favorite NBA player that's not wearing a Knicks uniform is Giannis. I want so much for this kid, and just the unbridled joy that sometimes this sport can corrupt apparently doesn't exist for him. So
calling it now, MVP, world champions, gonna start to nudge his way into that top 10 all-time conversation after this year.
Okay.
Wow.
Giddy up. All right.
Disagree.
Next quote. Nobody died.
Oh, I don't know.
This one I do know.
You do?
I'm blanking on
the context.
Yeah.
Or who said
I know
it?
it's something not that intense happened. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not going to get it.
Is it?
I'll push back. Something pretty intense happened.
I do know.
Died.
Wait,
Now
you know.
Now I know. It's.
Is it Boston?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Marcus Smart?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. The full quote, because for some reason Celtics Media Day went worse than Knicks Content Day. There's no clips out there. That's a lie. There's a couple clips out there, but this one wasn't available. Here is the quote from Gary Washburn. I'll pull this over. Marcus Smart, nobody died. I still love Ime as a person and as a coach. He led us to the finals. It's just something unfortunate that happened to him.
So that's some phrasing.
Nobody died. That might be my.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that part.
Yeah,
something happened. Something happened to him.
Yes, that it did. I think nobody died might be my new mantra. Anytime something bad happens, nobody died.
Can I say that every time I'm responding to a post-game criticism?
Yeah. Oh, we only played 7 minutes. Fire Tibbs. Nobody died. Yeah. The Mets lost again. Max Scherzer is out on Sunday, Andrew. Nobody died.
Nobody died except Andrew.
Yeah. Well, that's a great prediction right there. A couple more. I lost 100 pounds.
Yeah. This one.
Is this like super obvious and I just don't know it?
Well, take a guess of somebody that would have to lose 100 pounds to prove that they're in shape.
I'm completely blanking.
Jeremy.
Do you want me to say who it is?
Say who it was.
It's James Harden.
James Harden at Media Day said he lost 100 pounds.
This last year and a half really wasn't healthy enough to put the proper work in like I'm used to. So this summer was huge for me in that aspect of making sure, the hill runs and the weightlifting was real important. And then adding the steal on the court as well. How much did you lose? 100 pounds. Sweet thing.
The best joke to come out of this is somebody quote tweeted this video or this quote saying that's what he dropped in a London strip club.
Oh, that's not a lot of money.
It's not right now.
100 pounds is the better joke, Anyway, last but not least, I think it's been the same thing ever since I've been here.
Ooh, that feels like a quote that could come out of any player's
Which is why I think it's the most fascinating quote.
Say it again?
Yeah, say it again.
I think it's been the same since I've been here.
I'm trying to think who has been there, who has been with the team for such a long time that they would say that.
The context could be that
hold on,
it's been great since I've been here, or it's been terrible since I've been here.
Is it an Eastern Conference team?
It is an Eastern Conference team.
Is it a very good or a team that's projected to be not good?
Team projected to be very good.
A team projected to be very good.
Yes. Again, I think it's been the same since I've been here.
Is it a player on the Miami Heat?
No. You guys are going to be shocked because when I heard this, I was like, oh,
good.
The more that I think it's from the Celtics.
No idea.
So I'm just going to play it for you guys.
I don't know how to answer that. I think it's been the same since I've been here. It wasn't surprising or it wasn't not surprising. It didn't make me feel some type of way or whatever. It is what it is. So I talked to my teammates, organization about it, and now I'm just ready to play basketball.
So that's Jalen Brown of the Boston Celtics responding to a question about how he feels being mentioned in trade rumors after going to the finals. This is a guy that's played in 4 conference finals since he's been there, was the second best player on a team that was 2 wins away from a title. And when you think back to his career, they've been trying to trade this man since they drafted him.
So I was about to say, since arguably before they drafted him.
They almost traded him for Porzingis. Like, if you believe the rumors of what Danny Ainge was willing to offer for him, Jalen Brown would have been in that trade. You know, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, you name it, Jalen Brown, since he's been there, and all he's done is been part of winning teams and gotten better, to his credit, as a player.
This is such a fascinating situation because for one, there's 2 reasons it's fascinating, I think. One, he will not extend. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. If he reaches All NBA, there's a possibility he could extend. But even then,
realistically,
you would agree if he made All NBA, at least puts it on the table. If he does not make All NBA, there's 0% chance that he is extending before he becomes a free agent in 2024.
And why is that, John? For those who maybe don't know,
because he only makes, I don't know what he makes, but he can only extend as of now under this CBA for a 20% raise, and a 20% raise for him would leave him far short of the max, which is absolutely what he's going to get paid in 2 years. But the other thing is, like, they could win the next 2 championships, and I think there's a part of Jalen Brown that wouldn't even if they won, it would maybe embolden him even more to be like, man, I could go be the best player on a team and do this. Oh boy, that's going to be very interesting. Something to watch.
Well, that to me was the reason why they were so into the idea of trading for Kevin Durant, is because they thought, listen, we know this is a precarious situation with Jalen. Do we want to take that next step? Do we want to be a better team, even if it means moving him? Okay. To me, it's a question of if a better star than Jalen Brown becomes available, how eager are the Celtics to make that move? Because there is a doomsday scenario where the Celtics have everything going on right now, which they do. There was a day in which they had everything about Ime Udoka. Robert Williams is going to be out for longer than they thought. Yep. And, he had surgery, and then they're announcing that Danilo Gallinari had successful ACL surgery. And I know that it's been the style for players to take supermaxes when handed to them and then figure it out from there. And I still think that is the default that someone like Jason Tatum's going to have. But I don't know, man.
Jalen Brown's going to have.
No, not Jalen Brown. That Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum will be
supermax eligible when the time comes. But I look at Brown, and in 2024, if he is still with the team and he chooses not to extend and he wants to go elsewhere, whether it's signing as free agent or doing a sign and trade where the Celtics get minimal value back for him, and then you look at Tatum and he's like, the writing's on the wall. How are we going to get better while I'm here? And essentially, is he going to use that leverage that like similar to what LeBron did in terms of I'll sign this extension, but you have to add more talent around me. Is Tatum going to try to do something similar? And so I think about what the Celtics can do, because if they feel like Brown is even a slight bit of a flight risk, they're going to have to move him, but they can't just trade him for spare parts and draft picks. They need to do it for an actual player who can help them win now. And it'll be fascinating to see who that might be or what might come of it. But they're not super high on my implosion list. Like the Suns are still obviously first, but they're not too far down from there.
That's what we should do. We should do implosion rankings one day.
I think that'd be fun.
Patreon.
Yeah, let's go Patreon. Okay. I think we've sufficiently covered Media Day. I am excited to start getting the drips and drabs of reports from Knicks practice. And we're sitting recording this on Monday night, a week from tomorrow. Knicks basketball, baby. Catch the fever. I'm excited for that. I will say that for as not as excited as I was for media/content day, I'm very, very excited to watch even some fake basketball. So yeah. Be good. Andrew, did we miss anything?
No, I just had my days mixed up. I thought next Monday was the first preseason game. So
you gotta get on this.
Bad job by me. So many right schedules and whatnot.
Terrible job by you.
Yeah. Jeez. Apologies to the Knicks. I was like making fun of your audio quality earlier, or lack thereof. Listen,
somebody forgot to turn on a mic. It happens.
No, someone turned down a mic, and then because it's the best part is that and you could almost, like, if you wanted to go full tinfoil hat, be like, of course, for Julius.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear his mic. But when Obi came over, it's the loudest a microphone has ever been in the history of microphones.
Oh, okay.
Somebody on the content team feels a type of way.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, anything else from you before we get out of here?
Glad we're gonna have some games soon. Should be fun.
Me too. I need it. I need some basketball.
I need the overreactions for preseason games.
Oh my God.
Nobody died.
Nobody died.
And there's your episode.
There's the episod title. Nobody died.
Nobody died.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, thank you, everybody out there, for checking out another episode of the Knicks Film School Podcast. We got one more episode coming your way later this week with a guest that I'm not gonna say anything about, but excited for this one. And that's it. We'll see you soon. Peace out.